Salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. V back with another casted game of Age of Empires 3, and we have a historic matchup, which I always love seeing those on the game. But in order to introduce you to that, I got to introduce you to the players in the northeast of the map, playing in the color red. As the Aztecs, we have Loppy once again, this time being the Aztecs, not beating the Aztecs as we saw in his last game versus Kinesi. We are on Lake Chad, one of my favorite of the African pack maps. You got this big lake in the middle, lots of fishing potential, or a great place to put some naval vessels. You got most of your resources on the north side of the map, and you have a trading post on the south side. Also, this is where most FBs will go, because this is where most rushes come from, seeing as it is a much shorter distance than this long route. But you can see him in this area over here as well. And in the southwest of the map, playing in the color blue, as the Spanish, we have Only Baus, who I don't think I've featured on the channel yet. Both guys are top 100 players, 1900-ish elo, I believe. But yeah, Spain versus Aztec. You don't get much more historic than this. Of course, if you know anything about Native American or Spanish history, you know that the Aztecs and the Spanish did not have the greatest relationship, but we'll see. Never had to fight in Africa, it must be said, but we'll see who wins the rematch. Let's take a look at Baus's deck. That is the most standard Spanish deck I've ever seen. It's literally called 1v1 standard. It's got 3 vils, capitalism, your standard coin, wood, 5 vil, and a lot of units in age 3. Even as the Spanish gold, House of Trastamara. I mean, it's got the regular DE cards that players have added. It's got the 4 Colves, which is an absolutely insane shipment. And if you have that as an option for your Civ, you should always, 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 always have that in your deck. It's such good value, especially when you're having to deal with heavy cannons and you need a quick response. Meanwhile, it looks like Don de Soto, not Hernan Cortez, not Pizarro, not any of those guys. De Soto, wasn't De Soto a real guy? I'm pretty sure there was a guy named De Soto. Didn't he explore Florida? Is my history availing me here, or am I just falsifying Spanish records? Oh man, capitalism coming in for Baus as his second card. He does have a trading post in the south of the map. Meanwhile, let's look at our old friend Loppy. Love saying that username. I'm having way too much fun with it. Sending 3 vils as his first card, and a pretty versatile Aztec deck. And I don't know, I seem like I can't avoid Aztec no matter where I go. I feel like so many high-level players are just using this Civ constantly. You know, of course, you have more famous guys like Kinesi that plays a lot of Aztec on land maps, but, you know, I think it's just because Aztec is so versatile and they are so strong. I mean, think about it. If you know the Civs in DE, what is Aztec bad at? Like, every other Civ has something they're bad at, right? Dutch can't handle rushes the best, okay? You know, Spain doesn't always have the greatest early game economy. Germany's age 2 can be fairly weak. But what weakness does Aztec have, right? They have a really good rush. In fact, they can do an insanely fast all-in rush, but they can do a more measured rush with an economy. I think he might lose his war chief here. Speaking of, they've got an insane war chief, bullets for breakfast. That is an amazing name. Way to go, Loppy. But this guy's absolutely insane, can convert Guardians, has a ton of HP, can go into cover mode and soak up even more HP. And they have good units. All of their units are cost effective. I can't think of a single Aztec unit that is straight up bad. They have a decent economy with the Warrior Priest boom. They're good in age 2, they're good in age 3, they're good in age 4. And so, yeah, that's my treatise on why I think Aztec is being played so often and why, you know, I'm a little bit Aztec weary. I'm going to be honest. It was nice to have a little break from Aztec and see Civs like Dutch and Mexico. But here we are, back to the standard stuff. Travoy Wagon now coming out, and the War Hut is what is going to be going down. And based on the path here from these two, look at these guys. They are working overtime. That thing's got to be heavy. That's got an entire building inside it. Think about that. There's an entire hut which can produce multiple men's worth of units, and those 2 men are carrying it on their back. Absolute chads. But it is going to be a forward base, probably going to be down here somewhere as close as he can get it. And the trading post will be the first thing to go, though it looks like Baus has gotten quite a bit of use out of it. Now in H2, sending 700 coins, 700 wood, and sticking with good old classic Spain. And Spain is certainly not a weak civ. He's gone with the defensive outpost here, and I think he knows that some sort of aggression is coming. Maybe he's seen Loppy's deck, but Loppy could be going for something more boomy, though this forward war hut certainly gives off the idea that aggression is on the cards. 5 villager coming in for Loppy, and let's see if he follows that up with 3 warrior priests, or if he follows that up with one of these military shipments. I think that'll be a really big tell. 17 vils for Aztec, 18 vils for Spain. 700 wood now hitting the floor, and he does now have the macro to age up. He's got to hit that age up button. Every second is crucial when you're fighting against Aztecs. And out come the Jaguar Prowl Knights again, one of those amazing units. 36 siege attack. You can put these guys in stealth, and they can do a number on infantry that they catch. Of course, very good against cavalry as well. So, yeah. And then the Entente Slingers, cheap, easily massable, very, very cost-effective. Kind of the native Strelet, if you think of it that way. But they are going to be taking down this trading post for Spain, and very, very little that Baus can do about it. Getting down the barracks and houses, he is going to immediately start sending shipments. He's got a lot of anti-cav here. But again, the Aztec shock infantry, you cannot counter them the way you counter normal cavalry units from other European civs. Puma Spearmen now coming out. These guys have an absolutely stupid amount of siege attack, 41 per unit. Just insane. And we'll see what Loppy tries to do here. He might go for more of a contain. He might go for something more aggressive. He's got a lot of siege potential in this army, so he could go in, rip down the houses, rip down the outpost before that first shipment comes out. Rotoleros now being produced by Baus, but the Ententans are going to be able to deal with them in these smaller numbers. Gotta hydrate myself. That's the other thing about Aztec. They dehydrate me. Man, I'm being super anti-Aztec this game. I like the civ, it just, man, I can't get away from them. I don't know, are they too good? Let me know in the comments. Is Aztec too good? Do they need a nerf? Do they need some sort of nerf? Minutemen coming out here, and Baus playing this pretty well, actually. He's using TC fire, outpost fire, still gathering with some of his villagers, still getting food. Now we have an engagement, but there's so many Puma Spearmen here. Are these Hussars going to go down? Was this a bit too greedy? I think he's just trying to get his Minutemen in range, and these guys do have 26 ranged attack. They are going to be able to do nice damage against these Puma Spearmen, and remember, Puma Spearmen are an Aztec unit that cost coin, so they're not as easy to mass as Coyotes and Entente Slingers, so targeting them is a good idea for Baus. So he's definitely not playing this badly. He's definitely trying to break out of the contain, but the Aztec army is just so easily massable that it can feel hard to take them out completely. You take out some of their units and then twice as many show up, kind of like an Aztec Hydra almost. But one villager going down, getting 20 XP, that's another thing. They can get extra XP for killing units. Just throw that onto the pile. And this house, look at that. 3 shots going down. Goodbye. Is Baus popped now? He's almost popped, so it is going to limit him from sending some of those powerful shipments. The Lancers are going to be coming out, but there are still enough Puma Spearmen that's not really going to do much. Maybe if he can target the Pumas and then get on the Ententans. He still has some Hussars. He's got Rotoleros. He's making skirm. That's one of the things about Spain that's really a struggle. They don't have that 8 skirm shipment, so every skirmisher that Spain makes, they have to make manually, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but you don't really realize how important that 8 skirm shipment is until you don't have it. Lancers coming out now. Skirm's trying to do a little bit of damage, but there's too many Ententans here for them to really trade evenly. But Loppy getting a little bit too greedy here. He doesn't want to push without his anti-cav. Might be trying to lure them in. Look at that pull trick. Now the Puma's getting on one of the Lancers. But nice job by Baus here, targeting the Pumas immediately. But now we have a massive Coyotes coming in. These are going to keep the skirmishers honest. And more Ententans joining the fray as well. Look at it. This would be the perfect time for an 8 skirm shipment. But right now, the options he has just aren't super appealing. He's got 2 Falcons, which he can't really protect. 4 Lancers, which really won't do much. Rodoleros and Pikes, which is kind of the same story. But again, he's doing a nice job here. Gonna lose another Vil, 21 Vils for Spain, and now 31 for Loppy. Whoa, my camera's all over the place. And what else has he sent? Yeah, he has just been sending straight units. 9 Slingers, 8 Slingers, 6 Puma, 5 Coyote. And I wouldn't be surprised if he still follows that up with the Warrior Priest card. And that's another thing about Aztecs, is even if their rush does not go perfectly, their economy can recover actually really, really fast. And so even if you beat the rush, you're still not guaranteed to win, because they might end up outmassing you anyways. But Spain, I will give Baus a lot of credit here. He has safely made it to H3. He has lost a couple of Vils, but he's been able to mass a decent army here, a good composition, veteran Skirm, veteran Lancer, and 2 Falconets. My only concern here is he has very little anti-cav to protect this artillery. And so I'm worried these Coyotes are just gonna run in and zerg these Falconets before they can do much damage. Getting a good volley on the Ententans. He's got to control these Falconets so well. He's got to be careful. Because if these Falconets go down, it might be game. Let's see. Oh no, he's backing him up. And look at that, the Coyotes going in for the Zerg. They simply do not care. And 5 or 6 Rodoleros with a couple of dogs is not going to stop them. And so they are going to get up a couple of volleys, but they are going to go down. And there's 1,000 resources, one of Spain's most effective shipments, going down for, well, not much actually. But dogs going down, Rodoleros going down, and yeah, I mean, Loppy could certainly push in here if he wanted to. There are only skirmishers protecting now, and villagers gathering with impunity back in the Aztec base. And yeah, somebody call the Spanish crown, because the reconquest of the Aztecs in Africa is it's not going well as the first time. Oh man, where are the conquistadors? These skirmishers are just not up to snuff. And it looks like this is going to be the final fight here. I don't know, maybe Baus tries to fight back from this, sending more rods. But yeah, I mean, more rods coming out, but even if he drives off these Coyotes, just look at how much of a mass Loppy still has. And yes, he's not in H3, he is an age behind, but he's now sending Coyote tactics. He's sent 3 Warrior Priest, and I wouldn't be surprised if he starts macroing to age up himself. Yeah, look at that, he's getting a lot of food in bank. He could still send the 600 coin. So he's in a very comfortable spot despite the tech disadvantage, and I can't talk again. Darn you, Aztecs. How dare you parch me. But let's see what happens here. I really don't like Baus's position. I think he's defended this just about as well as he can. I think maybe the only thing that was a little bit not advisable was the shipping of the 2 Falcons as early as they were. Maybe if he had shipped 12 Pike and then 2 Falcons, had hung back a little bit longer and then engaged after making a few more batches of skirm, maybe he could have gotten a much better fight, and maybe those Falconets would have survived. But as of now, there's just not a lot of steam left in the Spanish tank. And I mean, what does he send here to really shift the game, right? Does he send 1,000 wood? He sends 12 pike and they get shot down by slingers? There's not a lot here. You know, what does Spain do? Yeah, you're in H3, but all the gas is gone. Another war hut coming down here for Aztec. And let's see, is Loppy macroing for an age up? He certainly is, yeah. This guy's going to be clicking up in just a second here. And once he does, he'll have access to more shipments. He'll have access to Jaguar Prowler Knights and upgraded Coyote and Ententan Slingers. And that tech upgrade, which is Spain's only advantage, is going to disappear rather quickly. But yeah, I mean, Loppy, give him credit, right? He's putting the strength of Aztec on full display here, just showing how almost overwhelmingly powerful they can be. And again, they're playing Spain, right? They're not playing Russia. They're not playing the Dutch. They're not playing some weak civ. They're playing a civ that is probably also at least as high as A tier. I certainly would put Spain in B tier. They are a strong civ, but looking a little bit lacking here. Getting a nice raid with the Coyotes. Love this move from Loppy, not keeping his army idle. And let's see, are the Spanish going to be able to trap these coyotes? If they could pick them off, that would be a decent trade. He's got a nice batch of coyotes he could steal here. 13 coyotes is nothing to sneeze at. Oh, he might catch him. Rottleiros getting a snare. Gonna get some free kills. But look at how fast those coyotes are, drawing them into the slingers. And now that Loppy is in H3, he's immediately putting in those elite upgrades. Elite Ententans just now arriving. Elite Coyote on the way. And does he have a shipment? He does not. He's about 3/4 of the way to a shipment. And this might be Spain's one and only chance to do some lasting damage here. He does have a decent amount of Lancers, and these Lancers could certainly do well, but he already has the Jaguar Prowler Knights. Look at them. They are in stealth. I think those are the big button. And there they come. They have unstealth, and these guys are going to make mincemeat of these Spanish Lancers. And look at that with the Coyotes. They're just a tank. It is going to be an easy win, I think, here for Loppy. And more coming out. Oh, my God. This is going to be an absolute massacre. Tenochtitlan will not be captured today, folks, even though, again, we are on an Africa map. But what a game. What a nice, efficient build by Loppy. And what a great demonstration of the fact that I think Aztec guys might need a nerf. It feels too strong. But again, I could be wrong. I'm just some 1400 elo guy spouting nonsense, okay? So let's take a look at it in more detail. Guys, follow me to the post game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in the post game, and the economy is actually staying pretty close. So Baus, despite losing vills in those assorted raids, did a really, really nice job of trying to keep the resources at least somewhat even. And when we look at the military count, actually got out quite a few military units as well, and killed more units than Loppy. But the problem is that the units that Loppy was killing were of a far higher value than the ones Baus was killing. Baus was killing slingers, meanwhile Loppy was killing cannons and lancers, and so the value trade was so much higher for Aztec despite losing more troops. And the military unit count, I mean, here's the tail of the tape right here. We just see the Aztec remass happening so quickly, 27 to 38 in a matter of 5 seconds. He loses his army again here, builds it up, loses again, builds it up again in H3, and this was the moment, the 1540 mark, where I really think if Baus had gotten a good catch with the Lancers and the Prowler Knights had not been present, he could have cleaned up that army, he could have taken down at least one, maybe both of the war huts, and there could have been some momentum shift. But as soon as those Prowler Knights came out and they all fell, Spain has nothing to fall back on. What does he do? Go back to his base, ship 12 pikes, and die? So I think that was a good GG call by Baus, a really, really well done build by Loppy. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. It kind of breaks up the monotony of all of the turtling and all of the booming that we see higher level players do. But let me know in the comments, is Aztec overpowered? Do they need a nerf? It feels like they do, but again, I could just be an old dude whining in his gaming chair. So let me know if I'm crazy or if there is a speckle of truth in what I'm saying. But until that day, guys, I will be back in a few days with another game. Have a great day. Have a great life. See you later.